Today I'm going to talk about the magic of marketing and just throw at you a whole bunch of different ideas to see which ones you may not already be doing, and maybe you doing all of them, but let's find out. All right, today I want to talk to you about the magic of marketing, because sitting there with an empty practice is one thing and filling it up with a lot of people is another thing, right? So it looks like magic sometimes, but really it's hard work, and you can hire people to do this. And it's something very necessary if you want to expand your practice, if you want to fill it up and have it full tilt, fully reaching its potential. Marketing is absolutely essential. And the first rule about marketing really is, for me, is it never stops. People sometimes go, okay, I've done my marketing, I've got some new patients in the door, okay, we can stop doing the marketing now. And that's not true, because patients are, there's always an attrition. And sometimes it's because they pass on or they move on or they leave you for whatever reason. And so you need to always be marketing. It never, ever, ever stops these days. When we started 33 years ago, it was a different picture. You put out your shingle and you got fully booked within a short amount of time, and you never had to market, and you weren't allowed to have a sign more than, 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters on the front of your building. Sorry, that's an exaggeration, but it was like that. No neon, no fluorescent, no big, huge signs out front, and so on and so on. And now all of that has changed, and it's like now you have to do all those things in order to be seen, which is the next point, is don't be invisible. If you are not visible online and actually on your premises so that people can find you, you're missing out on a huge amount of potential in terms of people coming into your practice. So don't be invisible, which means if you've got, a storefront, or have a standalone building with a front lawn or something where you can have a sign up front, don't make it little. Make it really beautiful, elegant, and big, and noticeable, and well lit. If you have a storefront, don't overfill the window with a lot of different things. I remember driving by a chiropractic practice one time in Toronto, and I stopped out front to look at this because it had a list of all the different services that they deliver. But it was white sticky letters that they had put in the window, and they had the blinds, vertical white blinds behind it, closed. So you couldn't really see the white on white very well. Like, I actually had to stop and read it all, and I went, wow, first of all, it's not supposed to have a menu in the front window. So that was the first thing that was odd. And then to have a white sign with white blinds behind it was really, would I say humorous? No, they were wasting their marketing dollars. So, but saying chiropractor is the main thing. If you're a chiropractor, if you're a dentist, saying dentist. But I've seen a lot of really good signage now where it's got, like, I'm just going to make up one, Cloverdale Dental, Cloverdale Chiropractic, whatever, veterinarian, where you've got a location that is like a mall that has a name, or an area of the town you're in, or the city that you're in, and using that name. It gives a feeling of, oh, you're my neighborhood, whatever profession you are. And I think that is a good thing to have. Having your name up there also, and there are some rules about this with different professions in different provinces. There are rules about whether you can say a name like Cloverdale Dental, let's say, if you don't have more than one dentist present, and same for other professions. So these are things you have to watch. So don't be invisible is the main point that I'm making here. And I mean that online as well, because I still run into doctors who don't have a website. And there are smarty pants out there who are trying to say, oh, websites aren't the thing anymore, and you don't need to have one, you can do Facebook. It's true that some people look at Facebook. More people will go to your website and try and find it anyways. They'll go online and try and find it because it is still very popular. And so you need to have your website come up quite quickly, be lightweight, be attractive, modern looking. I'm looking at some lately that, I think they made it 12 years ago, according to the copyright notice at the bottom. And I don't think it's been updated since then, and very, very antique looking. Nowadays it's more pictures, less words. Don't give long dissertations on who you are and what schools you've gone to over the years and all of these things that patients really are not going to read. They may be interesting to the doctor, but they're not interesting to patients. They just want to know, are you for them? Are you going to be the one that is going to be their chosen provider? And they're going to do that by the look of your website and the colors and the logo and the video of you at the beginning saying why you're so passionate about what you do. You can say that. It's like 1 minute long video, 2 at the most. I think 2 would be kind of long, but at least, but a 1 minute video just summarizing what it is about your practice that would make them want to come in. So we'll cover more of that as I go along here. You also want to get word of mouth going with your patients by asking them to refer to you. So that's another very important thing. I call that talking it up and getting people to share you with their friends live, not just on Facebook where they do shares or that sort of thing, okay? And a third rule about marketing I think that is important is when you have something that's working, never ever drop it out. It's working, so keep it going. Some of our clients have done that over the years. Like they'll get a promo piece that really, really worked, like sending out a hard copy thing, and they got a lot of new patients from it. So then they go, okay, well, let's change it up a bit because we've already sent it out once. Let's make it blue this time. And they send it out and they don't get very many people contacting them. Well, the yellow one really worked. So if you've got something that's working, keep it going till it doesn't work anymore. That's the rule. All right. I want to run through a bunch of things you can do marketing wise. And we'll just start, and this is in no particular order, but Google Ads. And they work for some practices. Believe it or not, they don't work for some practices either. I think a little bit depends on the cost per click, depending on whether you're in a big city surrounded by a lot of dentists who are doing Google Ads. And if that's the case, then the pay-per-click is just going to be too expensive. The other thing I want to say about Google Ads is that yes, you get calls in from it, but your staff are not trained on sales skills. And we know this because we've been training all our client staff for years and years, and they do not know how to handle shoppers properly on the phone for the most part. There are easy ones who phone in and say, hi, I'd like to make an appointment. That's a give and take. I mean, that's just going to happen because they're phoning in to sign up. However, there are the ones who phone in, hi, how much you charge for blah, what about this, do you do this, and ask questions. This is a shopper handling that is required, and the staff are not always fully trained on that. And actually, by studies that have been done by many different companies, the average is 2 to 5 shoppers lost per week. And you spent money on getting that person to call in by having, paid for a wonderful website or a wonderful ad or a Google ad that you paid per click, and so on and so on. So you want to make sure that your staff get some training on handling shoppers. Okay, so another thing about Google besides Google Ads is getting found underneath the map. If you Google, dentist near me, chiropractor near me, veterinarian near me, optometrist near me, whatever profession you are, look and see what comes up. Now, a map usually there's ads first, and by studies that have been done, 30% of the people that will actually call you and come into your practice are from the ads, but 70% come to you because we all skip the ads. 70% of us skip the ads. We go to where the map is, see the top 3, which usually have that little teardrop red thing, and then underneath it are those 3 practices, and that's called the sweet spot. That's where you want your practice to be showing up. And there are various ways that you make this happen. One of them is your website and how fast and good it is. Another one is how many Google reviews do you have? Another one is what other social media is showing up on Google. Like Google finds you like to see who's most popular by the amount of things that show up on Google. I have seen actually where they list 3 practices in your area, One of them will have, 5-star rating, but only 10 people who actually reviewed them. And then another one had a 4.7 star, but they had 150 reviews. And then another one had no reviews. So you go, well, which one are they going to take? The one that has the 5-star? No, the one who had 145 people liked enough to say 4.7 average. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of Google reviews up there. It's a quantity thing, but also quality. And a little hot tip, if you ask patients to do a Google review, they have to do it on their own phone. They can't do it on your equipment because it's the same IP address. So they have to do it on theirs, but ask them if they'd like to have a seat and take a minute to do one, and that you would really appreciate it. And would they please give you so you ask this way, you say, would it be possible for you to give us a 5-star Google review? Did you notice how I put 5-star Google review in? And you don't ask somebody who doesn't appear totally happy with their service today. Okay, so you only ask those who've been serviced, they came out with a smile on their face, and they're really happy. Then you say, hey, could you do a 5-star review for us on Google? And you can have a seat if you want. I can tell you how to do it if you don't know how. Lots of people don't know how. And so on. So Google reviews, okay? And sweet spot. So you want to get in that sweet spot. The next thing is having a really good website that is attractive. And I've kind of covered that right at the beginning of the talk. So the key thing is less words, more pictures, tour. Like doctors are very, very fond of their incredibly new technology that they've got, or, those their skills and their courses they've done and all this thing. Patients assume that you are awesome. They don't know any different, and they assume that you have the latest equipment. So saying that we have the latest or state-of-the-art technology, first of all, most professions you're not allowed to say that because it infers that other people in your profession don't have those things. So it's against the rules, although I don't think they're punishing anybody over it anymore. But the key thing is it's unimportant to the patient. So spend your minutes with the patient talking about things that are important to them, like the care that you give, why you give it. Here's our office, here's what it looks like. When you come, we welcome you with a fresh cup of coffee made by our amazing machine. Don't say that, but we have a correct machine or whatever it is that's most popular. And, or a hot chocolate. I mean, things like that are warm and fuzzy, or our amenities are a warm blanket on you, depending on your profession. Try and think of what amenities you could offer that are going to make them feel cozy when they come to your practice and less fearful or worried. I mean, these are the key things you want to make sure that you have on there. Having live testimonials is legal. You have to have somebody make it. And obviously, if they made it to promote you and to say how much they enjoyed your service, they've given you permission to use it. But you can make a little waiver and have them sign it so that, they have given you their permission to put it on your Facebook page, on your website, and so on. For some professions, you probably can't have the patient say their name or type it on the screen for them, but check into the rules on that. But it's becoming more and more popular to have that. Another thing you want to emphasize is what makes your practice unique. What is different about it? It's called branding, or having a unique selling proposition. Some practices like to emphasize their specialties. That's okay on your website to say we specialize in, or we focus on. You want to watch the word specialized if you have rules about that in your profession, if you haven't done the degree that makes you a specialist. On the USP thing, the unique selling proposition, we've had our clients do surveys, like the receptionist does a survey as the patient's leaving, like, how would you describe our practice in 1 or 2 words to someone else? And interesting things come up because you want to take that now and use it in the promotion, right? So one of our clients had patients say his feather-like touch. It's a Greek saying, and he's Greek. So the patients were saying this Greek word for a feather-light touch. And that was what was unique about him that they liked most. So find out what it is your patients like most about your practice. Maybe it's the warm, friendly staff. Maybe it's the awesome location. Maybe it's the great paintings on your walls. I've been in practices where the artwork is stunning and you go in and you just go, wow, color and beautiful. And I've had clients who've brought in their own photos because they're photographers and they blow them up on canvas and the walls are decorated with those. And I've seen people get an art gallery nearby to put artwork every month, fresh artwork on the walls with a consign and a card saying you can buy this from this studio or this art gallery, that sort of thing. I mean, those kind of things, people may comment on it and say, it's an artistic place to go. All right, next is Facebook. And there's several things about Facebook. I mean, obviously you should have a Facebook page for the practice, not your personal Facebook page, but make one that is for the practice and make sure that you get every patient to go onto it and you know, become a member of your clan, so to speak, or your fam, or any of those things if you're young and current. And you want to keep it interesting, things that people would want to go there, things about your profession. Did you know, blah, 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 that kind of thing. You can do Instagrams, you can do live Facebook videos and talk about different topics and then post them on your page. Those are also very interesting. And so patients will want to send their friends to your Facebook page to find out more about blah, blah, whatever it is that you're doing, that you're promoting. And don't forget, the third thing about Facebook is you can pay for Facebook ads, and that gets you a lot more visibility, and you can boost them, and you can also repeat them to people who didn't open it the first time, and so on. There's a lot of tools and technology to do with Facebook, and it's ever changing. It's better to have a company help you with it. Even though it costs money, it's going to get you more results if they know what they're doing. But make sure they know what they're doing, because there's a lot that don't. Here's one more idea that I think is very current and very cool, and I would love it if my doctor did it. You can do selfies nowadays. So if, let's say you had a patient who had a bit of a rough time in their treatment today. It was like, you know, they came in with something major and it took quite a bit of work to handle it. And you're concerned after they leave, you know, you can do a selfie video with you and your assistant or receptionist and say, hey, it's Dr. So-and-so and Kaylee or Janice or whatever. You know, we're just checking in with you to make sure everything's okay. And here's our number. If it's not, this is my after hours number. If it's still a problem, otherwise, you know, give us a thumbs up so we know back that everything is fine. Now, another thing you can do when you have a new patient who is signed up for an appointment for the next day, a very cool thing is for the doctor to actually make a little short selfie to them and say, hi, it's Dr. So-and-so. I understand that you have an appointment with us tomorrow and it's your first visit, so I'm looking forward to meeting with you, as are the whole team. So sayonara, see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Something like that. Just something that introduces yourself to them, so it makes a little more commitment, so you're less likely to get a no-show on a new patient. I understand that nowadays people do book appointments and then they just don't show up for them sometimes. So one more little tool to help keep them closed. But that is something special, doing those two different kinds of selfies. And I think that you'll find that people are more jazzed by your practice if you do these things and keep current. So, the end of my story today. But be creative. Think of different ways. Ask your staff for other ideas that they could do or that you could do that would be marketing for the practice. Never, ever stop. Rule number 1. Never, ever stop. Anyway, hope that helps. Have fun. Stay tuned. Subscribe. Send this to your friends. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
To get your practice analyzed, contact the Art of Management at 416-466-6217.